What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Universal Mastery. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Now, if you are new, what I do here is I break down the occult sciences and I break them down to a very practical level so that you can simply use them in your day-to-day life and get real, actual results with what it is that I'm teaching simply by applying your observation and awareness. It's that simple, okay? Let me give you a little bit of a perspective on who I am, just so that you know who you're getting this information from, once again, if you're new, because that's obviously something that is extremely important, okay? My name is Jeremiah Schwartz. I am a professional occultist. I'm fully initiated in the entirety of the Kabbalistic tree. Okay, I'm studied when it comes to the 22 major arcana of the tarot, and I'm also studied when it comes to planetary energies in direct association with astrology. Okay, so yeah, so without further ado, what is the topic of our today's video? This is definitely an interesting topic, as a lot of my topics typically are. This is a topic that was primarily brought to me by a member of the top tier vampire Patreon service that I have, which is called universalB Vampire, which is once again the top tier for my patrons, the Patreon members. So what this person said is they basically wanted to know what some of the benefits were to becoming a vampire. So basically, what does it mean once you've become a vampire, energetically speaking? What are some of the benefits that you get from it? What are some of the values that you get from it? Okay, so these are the exact types of things that I'm going to be discussing in this YouTube video. What happens when you are a vampire? Okay, once again, I'm going to leave it there. This is the topic of the video, so if you're interested, stay tuned. Okay, so let's go right into it. Okay, let's just jump right in. So let's first understand a little bit about vampires in general. Okay, so vampires and this concept of vampires has existed for hundreds of thousands of years. Okay, this is nothing new. Okay, there is nobody in our today's time that has discovered this concept. There is nobody who owns this concept. This is something, as I mentioned, that has been taking place and has been embraced for hundreds of thousands of years because of its energetic significance. So essentially, in our today's time, when we hear the word vampire, most of us think Hollywood. Okay. Now, is that a completely bad thing? Not absolutely. There is a lot of truths. There are a lot of correspondences and similarities in regards to how Hollywood projects what being a vampire is and what it represents. Okay. So, are there a lot of falsities that Hollywood shows in regards to being a vampire? Yes. Okay. There are things that you can discard when it comes to the Hollywood vampire, but there are also things that you can absorb and that you can receive. Okay. So essentially, let's understand what the energetic concept of a vampire is from a more so cosmic perspective. Okay. So vampires, energetically speaking, in our today's time, are going to be very similarly and directly energetically associated with a black hole in regards to the universe or within the galaxy. Okay, so when you think of the concept of a black hole, right, you think of this dark energy, basically vortex, that's literally consuming everything around it, collapsing everything in its radius into itself while simultaneously increasing its own power. Okay, this is what a black hole is. Okay, a black hole is formed under huge amounts of pressure, dark energy built up over time, creating so much pressure that it literally collapses and explodes and turns into this ultimate vortex that is constantly sucking inwards, constantly consuming, very similar to like a vacuum vortex, constantly pulling in, getting bigger the more it pulls in. Okay. So when it comes to a vampire in regards to the occult field, the vampire, energetically speaking, is going to have a lot of correspondences to the same exact energetic patterns that a black hole takes on in regards to the universe when you see a black hole form in space. So, simply, if you're listening to this now and you do not understand how black holes function in space, just go on YouTube and search up how are black holes created. Or you can literally search up what is a black hole. And you will see plenty of videos that appear that will very clearly and very simply educate you on how this black hole functions from an energetic and even scientific point of view. Okay? So, once again, when we talk about vampires in the occult field, when you hear that word vampire, you can also associate that with somebody who's developed a lot of similar qualities, energetically speaking, as a black hole shows in space. Okay, so what does this mean? When you're a vampire, your energy field has absorbed, has come face to face, has embraced. You could even use the word consumed. Dark energy. Okay. To the degree where it builds up. And the more dark energy you consume, the more dark energy you embrace or absorb from experience, the more of a consuming magnetic energy field you start to develop, and it gets bigger over time. Okay. Now, there comes a point in time as you are a vampire in the real world, as an occult vampire, where you've come face to face and you've embraced and encountered so much dark energy, extremely dense levels of dark energy and dark matter energy, where your own soul completely transfigures and transforms. It literally does the exact same thing, energetically speaking, as what a black hole does, where it collapses and basically explodes into itself and then reforms and constantly consumes energy. So your own soul can literally do the same energetic pattern and go through the same energetic process as a black hole in space. Okay? This is why when it comes to spiritual self-development and when it comes to occult initiation, everything is based on the solar system. Everything is based on universal principles. Everything's associated with constellations, planets, spiritual entities that are formed by planetary energies, elemental energies that are fueled by cosmic energies. Everything has to do with space. So when we look into space and we see a black hole, this is going to be the cosmic representation of what a occult real life vampire is in the real world. We've used the same technology as what black holes do in space to our own energy fields and to higher level degrees of being a vampire to our soul. Okay, we've transfigured our entire soul. Now, there is obviously a process in how you do this. Okay, the main idea and the main concept that you should receive from this process that I'm speaking about is it requires a lot of dark energy. Okay, it's going to require you to come face to face with many unconscious, subconscious aspects of yourself and the world around you, which naturally is going to shatter, disintegrate, and dissolve your sense of self, your ego. Okay, so the more dark energy, the more dark matter energy that you can embrace, that you can be receptive to, and the more you can allow yourself to die, basically to yourself, the more likely you are to be a more powerful vampire, eventually getting to the point where you collapse your entire soul using the same energetic concepts and properties as a black hole itself. And there is a process of initiation that actually takes you through that. And this aspect of this level of initiation that I'm speaking about happens within the Klipothic realm, universalB, which is the backside of the Klipothic realm, which is the realm of shells and is considered to be the underworld and is basically the essence of all negative dark energy experiences in the real world, and also is the essence of the non-being. Okay? So to somebody who understands and embraces the unknown, the unconscious, subconscious, and the state of non-being, there's a lot of power that you can gain from universalB of the Klipothic realm. Okay? So when you go to collapse your soul, this process happens within the Klipothic realm when you go to cross the abyss and come face to face with Choronzon. Basically, a very profound aspect of chaos that will test you in extremely profound levels and degrees to see if you can successfully cross, which basically, in a nutshell, means you have to completely die to yourself. Okay? And in this experience of crossing the Klipothic abyss, coming face to face with Choronzon, there will be hormones that release in your body naturally because of the energetic influence that will be placed on you that will release DMT in your bloodstream. Okay, so you will actually go through the experience of feeling like you're dying. And this is also what's connected into vampires, because vampires are known to be the living dead. Okay, this is why vampires sleep in coffins. Okay, vampires in real life live on dark energy. Vampires live and created themselves first from the state of non-being, which then produced a different state of being because they've transformed themselves through death energy. Okay, so any real life occult vampire like myself has been through so many sense of self importance deaths, so many ego deaths, that I've come to a very conscious realization that death is extremely important. Death is extremely profound in regards to developing real energetic power. Because the more you allow yourself to die to your sense of self importance and your ego, the more you're able to access the non-being aspect of your own being, which is the unconscious and the subconscious, which is vast. It's huge Because if you look at a graph of the universe right now, if you pull up a graph, you will clearly see that the majority of the universe in the graph you're probably looking at, if you actually do your own research, is 96% dark energy. So there's an abundance of dark energy out there in the universe itself that can aid you in gaining personal evolutionary power. Okay? So when you've transformed your energy field to be vampiric, or if you have a universalB vampire service from me, what this has done and what this does for me as being a vampire is this allows your energy field to pull in energy from dark energy in your environment. Okay? Not only just dark energy, it can pull in other types of energies as well. For example, organic light energy. Okay? Higher frequency energy as well. Okay? So when you're existing in your day-to-day life with a vampiric energy field, you are constantly pulling in energy as if you were a magnet. Okay? You're constantly pulling in energy, which in the beginning stages of being a vampire can oftentimes feel a little bit overwhelming. Because rather than always reflecting energy outwards and pushing energy outwards, trying to control your environment and change your environment or feel a sense of security within your immediate environment due to a sense of self-importance and ego, you're now pulling in constantly, which once again can feel a little bit overwhelming, as if you're dealing directly with your unconscious and your subconscious mind now, which is obviously the stuff that you're not conscious of. So as I said, a natural state of this is to feel a little bit overwhelmed, okay? But over time, this overwhelmed state of being will dissolve and slowly but very surely destroy your ego. And it will tune you more so into the understanding of how important death is. So this is changing you into recognizing that you don't know everything and that the most powerful aspect of your own being resides within dark energy. Okay, this is what a real occult vampire understands. You are transforming yourself from being just living, coming from a living perspective, where you need your sense of self-importance and you need your ego to be alive, to now transition over to what it means to be dead. And as you transition to being dead, you start to realize, you start to understand, you start to allow yourself to be much more receptive to different avenues, different perspectives, and different concepts in the real world itself and within your own being, which naturally expands your awareness. So then you start to gain a new perspective, a new state of being from allowing yourself consciously to consistently die to your ego. So as I'm saying, you start to reform a new awareness. You start to develop a new state of being where now that you're dead, you start pulling in energy from darkness because you're allowing yourself to be more receptive to what you don't know, which then starts to feed you a different source of energy from dark energy and dark matter energy. And then you start to essentially become reborn in darkness and go from being dead to the living dead. This is the process that a real occult vampire goes through in regards to the occult field through a process of initiation, or if you have the vampire service from me, where I have the ability to do this to your own energy field. Okay. Top tier of the Patreon. Okay. So when you start to change your energy field's ability to start pulling in from dark energy and dark matter energy, you start to develop huge amounts of power. The process takes time, but the longer you've been a vampire, the entire time that you've been working towards being a vampire, going through that death process, once you've finally energetically established yourself to be able to pull in from dark energy and dark matter energy, you will notice you start to streamline huge amounts of power that then turn you into a much more powerful being than what you were before you were a vampire. Okay? You become a different person. You become someone who has a different outlook on the real world. You become someone who has a different perspective on life. And you ultimately embrace the feminine aspect of your own energetic being to a much higher degree, because vampires are always receptive. We receive energy. We listen to understand, because understanding is where knowledge is. And when we understand things, we can apply knowledge to create power. So, as a vampire who's gone through that process of changing how you consume energy, the longer you've been a vampire and the higher initiated you are as a vampire, and both of these things can come into play. These are two different factors of uh, seeing how powerful you are as a vampire. You get to a point where every single circumstance you go through that is challenging, that is tough, that is dark energy, dark matter energy in nature, you consume those circumstances. You consume those energies. You consume your enemies. You consume whatever it is over time, and then it turns into your power. And once again, the longer you've been a vampire, the more powerful your energy field becomes and is becoming consistently, just like a black hole. The more a black hole consumes, the bigger and more powerful it gets over time. And to the human logical perspective, basically a black hole is infinite. They're literally almost infinite. They're not technically infinite from a very minute scientific perspective, but to the human awareness, they literally are perceivable as infinite. And this is where the concept of the vampire comes into play, where it's said that vampires are immortal. Okay? Because if the universe primarily consists of dark energy, and you've trained your own energy field to fuel itself from dark energy, then you've established a new source of developing power for yourself, which is going to make you, from a psychic perspective, an astral and etheric perspective, this can make you immortal. This can make you develop an astral being, which is your own astral body, that is essentially immortal. Meaning, when you go to die, when you physically pass away, you will transfer your consciousness into a vehicle that was the representation of your own unconscious and subconscious mind, because while you were living, you allowed yourself to physically consume dark energy to further empower your unconscious subconscious astral vehicle. Some call it the daemon, okay? Some call it the holy guardian angel, some call it the higher self. I like to call it the daemon, the astral body. And this is what it means to be immortal. Now, physically, what this is going to do for you in the physical plane is this is going to extend your lifespan, okay? Why is having a vampiric energy field going to extend your lifespan? Well, if you are able to consume all different types of energies, then you are constantly fueling your energetic body, your energetic being. The reason why people die at a premature age is because of their sense of self-importance and because of their egos that don't allow them to come into new perspectives and new awareness that can help them live a longer life. So it is said, and it has been documented in ancient texts, you can even see it portrayed in the Bible, that human beings were able to live at a default of 1,000 years. Okay, so this means that it's been documented throughout time, thousands and thousands of years ago, that the human being should, by default, be able to live up to 1,000 years, and that was the normal lifespan. Okay. Now, if this is true, then you look at the real world today and you see there are a lot of mistakes being made. And maybe a lot of these mistakes aren't necessarily mistakes. Maybe there's a lot of intentional, energetic designs and programs meant to suppress the lifespan of the human being, which makes sense, especially when we're in a Kali Yuga, where we're in the darkest, most chaotic cycle of evolution itself. It makes sense. But if you learn how to feed on dark energy, how to consume dark energy and dark matter energy, then everything that used to previously harm you energetically, emotionally, psychically, spiritually, physically, then becomes your source of food. It becomes your source of self-development and your source of power. So those things do not harm you the same way that they once did before you had a vampiric energy field. Why? Because you consume those energies. You pull them in and you don't allow your ego and your sense of self-importance to stop you from absorbing those energies and increasing your own energetic being from doing it. Okay? And there's a lot of different avenues, concepts, and belief systems that are programmed into our day-to-day life to prevent people from developing a vampiric energy field. Okay? And if you think the highest level occultists on the planet today aren't consciously developing a vampiric universe-B body energy field, then you're fooling yourself, because this is something that I'm doing. This is why my top tier service is the most popular service on my Patreon. And this is something other high level occultists are taking advantage of as well. Now, do you need to get my service to become a vampire? Is that the only way that you can become a vampire? No, you can create your own vampire body just like I did, just like the next person who's done it did, just like people did throughout time hundreds of thousands of years ago. Okay, so if I sat here and I told you the only way you could become a vampire is if I do it to you, if I did it to you, then that would just be me being insecure, trying to hold on to you, grab you by the neck and say, give me your money. I'm the only one that can do this for you, which is not true. You can definitely develop your own vampiric energy body, but you definitely want to be aware of what you're getting yourself into when you do that, because the process is excruciating. It's extremely challenging and it's dangerous. Okay, so if you get a vampire service from me, I do it for you and I make it a lot easier for you to ease into becoming a vampire rather than you doing it the way that I had to do it. Okay, which was extreme universe B, dark energy, initiation in the occult field. So, with that being said, once again, the things that used to previously harm you and the things that used to previously hurt you, once again, physically, emotionally, mentally, psychologically, and spiritually, those things then become food for you if you are a vampire. Because these things that are meant to harm and damage you and cause negative effects to you can still affect you on those different levels that I just mentioned. But if you're a vampire, you're going to absorb them regardless. So they may affect you. You may still feel the emotion behind it, the energy and motion behind it, but you will process it and eat it, absorb it, and then it will become your power, making you that much more powerful. Okay? Just like a black hole. Okay? Try destroying a black hole. Okay? The only thing that can really destroy a black hole is a bigger black hole. Okay? It would just consume that one. So, with that being said, as we can see, being a vampire in the occult field is extremely important and extremely valuable. And the only thing that holds people back from becoming a vampire is their ego and their sense of self-importance, which is why death is directly associated with the vampire, because you have to die to your ego. You have to die to your sense of self-importance to be a real powerful vampire. And obviously, if this is something that was easy to do, there would be more people speaking about these concepts, more people talking about it. So obviously, this is not an easy process to go through. It's never easy to die to yourself. It's never easy to die to the aspects of yourself that do not serve you. Okay, it's challenging. So you have to be serious in regards to your evolution if you plan on becoming a vampire. Okay, regardless. And when we look in regards to universe B, and we look at the Klipothic realm specifically, you're going to see the importance of vampires because the first two Klipothic spheres, being Nama and Lilith, are directly associated with two feminine, dark energy, vampire spirits. Okay? Lilith being the queen of vampires, the mother of demons, feminine energy, receptive, consuming. Okay? And then Nama being Lilith's lesser aspect, a different aspect of Lilith, the daughter of Lilith, the sister of Lilith. Okay? Both vampiric in nature. There's a reason why the two bottom spheres, the two starting spheres of the Klipothic realm start with vampiric spirits. That's how important it is to develop a vampiric energy field to even initiate within the Klipothic realm. So this leads into the other aspect that I want to speak about. When you get a vampire service from me, or if you're a vampire, what this does to your energy field is it allows you to exist in universe B. Okay? So some of you may not know, but when it comes to the Kabbalistic tree, there is a front side of the Kabbalistic tree, and there is also a back side of the Kabbalistic tree. If you don't think I'm telling the truth, then go ahead and buy the book called The Night Side of Eden by Kenneth Grant. Or you can search it on Safari right now and get the PDF, where he clearly talks about it, and most people have no idea there is a backside of the Kabbalistic tree of life. Everyone's so focused on the light, the positive, I'm your spiritual guru, whatever the case is, but there's a negative shadow aspect to the tree. And most people don't know about it. And a lot of people actually have gotten sucked into it and they're still unaware. Okay? So what that means is that there is a darker aspect of the Kabbalistic tree itself, that from an energetic perspective, in regards to the sciences that go behind it, is necessary for the tree of life to even exist. There has to be an opposite polarity that create tension on one another to hold it in place with anything. Just like on a battery, you need a positive charge and a negative charge to create power. So we definitely want to be aware that our batteries need a negative charge, or else we're going to have a battery that doesn't turn the flashlight on, so to speak. Okay? So when you become a vampire, you now have access to exist in universe B, not only consciously, but to start gaining power from universe B. So as I said, most people, due to their sense of self-importance and their ego and everything that's been programmed into their mindset and their egos, they are being afflicted by universe B, subjective dark energy forces on a day-to-day basis. And they're trying to fight these forces as if they're going to win the battle one day. And there's many reasons as to why this is. I mean, you could trace it back so far. I mean, this is programming in the mass collective, but when you exist in universe B and you have a universe B energy field and you're conscious of universe B, you don't fight dark energies. You don't fight the fire with the fire. You become the fire and you absorb the fire to become the ultimate flame, to become the ultimate fire. Okay? So with my vampire service, and if you are a vampire, or if you're thinking about one, or excuse me, if you're thinking about becoming one, you are then able to exist in universe B, which is the tunnels of Set, where there's many demonic forces, many diseases attributed to the tunnels of Set, many challenging, dark, rough experiences that are potentially there that can afflict you, but as well as all of those dangers and all of those negative experiences, there is power that is behind the negative experiences. There is power that lies behind the dangerous circumstances. Power that can do many different things for you. Power that can make you a person that steps into their highest potential over time. Okay, living a life that you want to live, and then other people look at you like, how are you doing that? Okay, recognizing you have the keys and you have certain secrets that most people will never tap into in the real world. This all lies within universe B, and you have to know how to approach universe B consciously and have a vampiric energy field to get the power from universe B. Because although there's challenges and although there is dangerous situations and circumstances that manifest, if you have a vampiric energy field, you're going to allow yourself to consume those same dark energies, those same negative energies that would typically destroy the average person who did not know how to consume them. So rather than letting your ego and your sense of self-importance prevent you from getting the power within universe B, within the tunnels of Set or the Klebothic realm, you will let your sense of self-importance, you'll let your ego die when it gets overwhelmed with those dark energies, and then you will consume the power that lies within it. Okay? You'll consume all the powers, all the keys, the secrets, the knowledge, wisdom, understanding that resides within universe B, because there's tons. Okay? But you have to be a vampire to do this process successfully and to get to your highest potential. And if you don't want to believe me, I'm not here to change your mind. If you think you can do it otherwise, do it otherwise. But most people don't even know universe B exists. Most people don't even know about the Kabbalistic tree in the backside, the tunnels of Set. Most people don't even know there's a backside to the Klebothic realm. And most people don't know you have to be a vampire to exist permanently in universe B, because you have to consume all different types of energy. You have to consume consistently dark energy and dark matter energy, which also comes with death. You have to consume death. So, vampires, we recognize death as associated with the hidden sphere of death, which creates 100% energy in transfer. So, as vampires, we're constantly jumping timelines. We're constantly jumping through the backside of the tree of life in universe B, the different tunnels in universe B, or within the Klipothic realm. So, we're constantly consuming death energy. Okay. And this is all benefits and advantages you get as being a conscious, occult universe B vampire. Okay. So, my vampire service specifically, if you've received the service from me, I've personally changed your energetic field to be able to exist within universe B. So, that means that for those of you that received my service, if you were already in universe A, which most of you were, it's programmed your energy field to take you into Dath, which is universe B. So then you can start residing within the tunnels of Set and over time start developing powers, awareness, and capabilities from those tunnels, which is not an easy thing to do. It's not an easy process, but you're in universe B. And over time, as long as you allow yourself to keep dying to your sense of self importance and your ego, you will start to reemerge and reshape your energetic field into a vampire, which can then lead you into deeper levels of occult initiation, which are associated with the Klipothic realm. And you can do what I did. And this is all stuff that I'm going to be teaching for the top tier members. I'm even going to be writing a book. I think I've decided that I'm going to be doing a book in regards to Klipothic initiation. I think that's probably going to be the most effective way to make it happen. I'm still debating if I'm going to do a book or a video course, but these are all things that I'm going to be teaching for my top tier vampire service Patreon members. And I'm going to be teaching you about the tunnels of Set and how to open every single tunnel and initiate through those different tunnels, which is simply the backside of the tree of life. And I'm going to teach you how to go through the tunnels of Set before getting you into the Klipothic realm so that you're prepared going into the Klipothic realm. Okay. But other than that, ladies and gentlemen, this is what I wanted to share. And these are some of the benefits, some of the concepts and ideas that take place in regards to being a real life occult universe B vampire. So I'm going to leave it there. Ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed this video, come down here and hit that like button. Okay, definitely hit that like button. Also, come down here and hit the notification bell because I post videos as often as I can. And with content like this, you obviously do not want to miss out. Okay. Now, also drop down here if you are listening to my content and you are not yet subscribed to my YouTube channel, then definitely come down and subscribe. Okay. Definitely make sure you take advantage of subscribing to my YouTube channel. And I'd also like to say, if you know anyone that is interested in this type of information and could potentially gain value from this content, you have my full permission to copy and paste this link and send it anywhere you want. Okay, family, friends, social media platforms, you name it. Go ahead and share the link. Let's spread this content and this value like a wildfire. Okay, and so far, my YouTube channel has been growing exponentially. Okay. Also, make sure you come down here and you follow me on Instagram. Okay, you're going to see my Instagram handle right there, JER_477. That's where you can follow me on Instagram. Okay, definitely make sure you do that. Oftentimes, I will post unique posts on there, and I will also give heads up of when I'm going live on YouTube to my Instagram story hours before I go live to give you that extra notification. Okay. Now, the next link I'd like to take you to is in the YouTube description. Just scroll down a little bit and you will see a Facebook community link. Okay. Click that link and then you'll see it takes you to a pinned post where you can join my private Facebook group. Okay. Now, on my private Facebook group, there's roughly about 300 plus members as of right now. And if you want to find yourself in a group of potentially like-minded individuals, then definitely request to join and I'll add you in, okay? Now, here's the most important link that I would like to take your awareness to. If you go to the YouTube description dropdown, okay, which actually I think is down here. I'm not 100% sure. It's either over here or down here. Go to the YouTube description dropdown, and you're going to see that very first link at the top of the description. Right there, it's going to say Patreon because obviously that takes you right to my Patreon, okay? Now, on my Patreon, I have tons of exclusive content that is not public to my YouTube channel, okay? So this ranges all the way from blog posts where I teach about extremely important and advanced occult concepts, and I also give high-level information in regards to certain types of supernatural spirits. It ranges from live streams that are only for the Patreon. It ranges from information on the Kabbalah in regards to the 10 spheres of the Sephiroth and then the 10 spheres of the Qliphoth. It teaches you practices where I'm demonstrating the practice on camera and then I'm teaching you how to do it yourself on camera. So, for example, I teach you how to do an invocation, which is an extremely fundamental practice. Okay, all on the Patreon, all Patreon exclusive. And then for tier 3 and up, you get access to an entire magic training course, which teaches you all the different tools that you need and that you should have for developing your psychic power as an occultist, which is great for beginners, also good for intermediate and advanced if you want to take advantage of it. And we go through everything that you need to go through to develop the most psychic power as possible. For example, we start with dead magicians taking all their power. We move into angels taking all their power. And then we move into the Ars Goetia and take all their power. Okay, then I teach you how to cast a low magic spell at the end of that magic training course. And I even show the proof of how the spell became manifest in my real life. Okay, so you can literally see the proof of how it works if you want to see that. Okay, all for tier 3 and up. Now, moving into tier 4, this is where you can become a vampire, a universalB vampire created by me. So if you thought this video was interesting and you like some of the benefits and you like some of those energetic concepts that I was speaking about within this video, then where you can become a vampire is that 4th tier called the universalB vampire tier, where on the 29th of every month, that has a 29th, which is every month except for 1 month out of the entire year, I will be performing a specific ritual on the new participants of that vampire service where I download my own energetic vampire body into you, which then changes your own energetic structure to take on the same energetic qualities as my vampire body has, which gives you the ability to exist within universalB and get all the benefits from existing within universalB. Okay, now obviously there's a process in regards to the transition phase when you become a vampire, which is all described on the top tier vampire service Patreon videos for people that have become vampires. I give you the information you need to understand that process, okay? This is the most popular tier on my Patreon, and that's obviously for many different reasons. So other than that, I'm going to leave it there. If that's something you want to take advantage of, first link in the YouTube description, that's the Patreon, okay? With that being said, I would love to give a special shout out to all of the Patreon members that are there. Okay, huge shout out to all of you for taking your knowledge and your practices to that other side. That's always appreciated. Okay. Now, the second link that I would like to take your awareness to is in the YouTube description. This is where you can book a tarot card reading with me. Okay. Now, on this tarot card reading, this is not going to be like any other tarot card reading you've received before. What I do in this tarot card reading is I can literally pinpoint where you are on the Kabbalistic tree itself to see where you are in regards to your own personal initiatory journey. Now, a lot of people don't know, but in regards to the Kabbalistic tree, this is a representation of the energetic multiverse. So, unconsciously and subconsciously, most people are making progress on that Kabbalistic tree. They just don't know about it. So, because I'm a professional occultist, because I understand the process of initiation, I understand the multiverse associated with the Kabbalistic tree, I can literally pinpoint where you are, tell you what you're feeling, what you're experiencing, and then give you information on where you're headed in your near future, moving all the way to your long-term future. Okay? So I'm going to leave that there. If that's something you're interested in, definitely go ahead and take advantage of it. Second link in the YouTube description. Okay? Now, for the third link, this is the third link in the YouTube description. This is where you can become a YouTube member. Okay? So as you become a YouTube member, what you gain access to, most importantly, is what I call the psychic warfare emoji system. Okay, so what this means is that as soon as you become a YouTube member, you're going to get access to exclusive emojis that are directly connected to my own tarot deck that can be used in a certain type of configuration to actually cause psychic damage to any of your targets that you want to cause psychic damage to. Okay. If you want to learn a little bit more and educate yourself on exactly how the psychic warfare emoji program functions, I have an entire YouTube video that is personally directed towards doing that. Okay. If you go to my public YouTube videos and you scroll down, you will see there is a video that is titled, in parentheses, members only, followed by psychic warfare program. That's the video that will educate you on exactly how the psychic warfare emoji program functions. And right now, there are a lot of people using it. I have a certain post section where people can basically throw their targets in and get psychically damaged. And there are over 1,000 posts in that specific community section. Okay, so if that's something you're interested in, look into the third link in the YouTube description. Other than that, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to wrap it up. I appreciate you very much, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day or night, wherever you are. And I'll see you on the next video. Peace.